everyone, and welcome to another episode of English Broadcast Studio. I'm Anna, and today we are going to dive into a fascinating topic that can change the way you learn English. We'll be talking about how storytelling can be an incredible tool for improving your English skills.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm really excited to talk about this today. Storytelling has been around for centuries, and it's one of the most natural ways humans communicate. But what if I told you that it can also help you improve your English? Today, we'll explore just that.
That's right, John. And let me tell you, learning English through storytelling is not only fun, but also incredibly effective. So, if you're looking to enhance your speaking, listening, and vocabulary, stick with us. You're going to learn some great techniques today.
Yes, and don't forget, storytelling doesn't just mean telling fairy tales or fables. It can be anything from personal anecdotes to retelling news stories. We're going to cover it all. But first, Anna, let's start with the basics. Why is storytelling such a great method for learning English?
Good question, John. There are a few reasons why storytelling works wonders for language learners. First, it's an engaging way to learn new words and phrases. Stories often introduce vocabulary that you might not find in a textbook, and hearing those words in context helps you understand how they're used in real life.
That's true. It's much easier to remember words when they're part of a story. And let's not forget about the cultural context. Stories often carry cultural references and idiomatic expressions, which helps you understand the nuances of the language.
Exactly. And storytelling allows you to hear different sentence structures and grammar in action. When you listen to stories, you naturally get used to how English sentences flow, how they are constructed, and how grammar is applied in a natural setting. It's a more organic approach compared to just memorizing rules.
Another point is that storytelling improves your listening skills. When you're listening to a story, you need to pay attention to details, follow the plot, and remember what happens next. This builds your ability to understand English in conversations and in real-life situations.
Right. And of course, storytelling helps with speaking. The more stories you tell, the more fluent you become in expressing your ideas. You practice your pronunciation, your intonation, and your ability to structure thoughts clearly.
You know, Anna, I remember when I was learning English, I started by telling stories from my own life, like how I spent my last vacation or a funny incident that happened at work. It made the whole process much more enjoyable and less intimidating.
That's a great point, John. Using your own experiences is an excellent way to practice storytelling, and it helps you build confidence. You're not just memorizing sentences, you're sharing something personal, which makes speaking feel more natural and less stressful.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the different ways to incorporate storytelling into your English learning routine. How can learners start using stories to improve their English?
Well, John, there are several ways to get started. First, I would suggest starting with listening. Find stories, whether it's short stories, podcasts, or even YouTube videos in English, and listen to them regularly. The key is consistency.
That's true. And while you're listening, it's important to focus on understanding the main idea first. Don't get discouraged if you don't understand every single word. It's okay. Try to grasp the overall meaning and key points.
And after that, I recommend repeating the story. You can listen to it again and try to repeat the sentences as closely as possible. This helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. It's like learning the melody of a song.
That's a fun way to put it, Anna. And here's a cool tip. Try to retell the story in your own words. Once you understand the plot, practice explaining it to someone else, or even to yourself in front of a mirror. This will help improve your speaking and sentence structure.
Exactly, John. And when you retell the story, make sure you use the new vocabulary and phrases you've picked up. This will solidify your learning and help you remember the words better.
It's like making the language your own. You don't just memorize, you adapt it to your personal style of communication.
That's right. Another powerful technique is to write your own version of the story. Try to write a summary or even create a new ending.
This helps you practice grammar, structure, and vocabulary in writing. And you can even challenge yourself by using new tenses or advanced vocabulary.
Ah, I love that idea, Anna. Writing your own version of the story will definitely boost your creativity and make learning English more enjoyable. It also helps you focus on the accuracy of your language use.
Now, John, let's talk about something that's very important in storytelling: listening comprehension. Many learners struggle with understanding spoken English, especially when it comes to fast speech or different accents. Do you have any tips for improving listening comprehension through storytelling?
Yes, absolutely. One of the best ways to improve listening comprehension is to listen to stories multiple times. Each time you listen, you'll catch new details or understand things you missed the first time.
That's true. And when you listen, try to pay attention to things like intonation, stress, and pauses. These elements tell you a lot about the meaning and emotions in the story. It's not just about the words. They convey a lot of information through how they say it.
And if you find it difficult to understand everything at once, it's okay to slow down the audio or use subtitles at first. But remember, the goal is to gradually challenge yourself. Start with easier stories and work your way up to more complex ones.
And let's not forget about reading. If you read the text version of the story, it helps reinforce what you've heard. You can underline new words, look up their meanings, and even practice reading them out loud to improve pronunciation.
That's a great combination: reading, listening, and speaking all in one. And once you're comfortable with the basics, you can even join storytelling communities or language exchange groups. This will give you a chance to practice storytelling with other learners.
Absolutely. Speaking of practice, John, what about storytelling challenges? How can learners use challenges to push themselves in a fun way?
Oh, I love storytelling challenges. You can challenge yourself to tell a story every day for a week. Maybe start with a short story or even a funny incident from your day. Over time, you'll see huge improvements in your speaking and confidence.
That's a fantastic idea, John. And if you're up for it, try recording yourself while telling the story and listening to it later. It's a great way to spot areas where you can improve.
Yes, and you can also challenge yourself by using new vocabulary you learned that week. For example, if you've learned 10 new words, try to incorporate them into your story. It's like a mini vocabulary test in a fun way.
And I'm sure our listeners would love to share their own stories with us. So if you're watching this, we'd love to hear how you use storytelling to improve your English. Leave your comments down below.
Yes, please. We're always excited to hear your experiences. And if you found today's tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe to English Broadcast Studio and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Thank you so much for joining us today, John. And thank you, everyone, for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you feel inspired to use storytelling in your English learning journey.
Thank you, Anna, and thanks to all of you for tuning in. Keep practicing, keep telling stories, and most importantly, keep having fun with your English learning.
That's right. Until next time, keep practicing your English through storytelling. See you soon, everyone.
Bye.